I don't know if this guy's British or American. Hello and welcome back to Maze. Solve the world's most challenging puzzle from 1985. We are on our fourth run. The first one crashed very quickly.
Okay, so the guide has just completely off.
The second one meandered around a really long time before eventually crashing out. The third run had a bit of a false start. You know what? And then the second run, the second go at it, we learned some very valuable things that we'll be applying to this run. The sun is evil! So, yeah, let's go on to run number 4. Now, am I forgetting something? Oh, yes! A quick check-in. Is the world still on fire? And so it is. As with every run, we begin at the prologue. This is step 0. This run we are dedicating to the one door that we have not gone in the first room yet. I'm already starting to get a better sense of who this author is. Literally anything in this book could be a clue. This run is still going to be kind of a bit of a speed run just to really explore the maze, try and get access to as many of the rooms as we can, find as many connections as we can. As a reminder, the goal of this book is to get from room 1 to room 45, and then back to 1 in only 16 steps. If this is your first time joining us, the text is all written from the point of view of this mysterious guide. He's leading a group of visitors into his maze, and so he gets a little snarky at times, he gets a little sassy. Let's dive in. Prologue. The Maze. I met them at the gate, though I usually wait inside. Preoccupied with their own thoughts, impatient like so many children, they didn't see who I really was. They never noticed my crown, my pain, the fire in my eyes. Like all the others, they think the maze was made for them. Actually, it is the other way around. They think I'm some poet who will lead them through the symbols and spaces of this underworld. They think I will teach them lessons. They should call me Cerberus. I am the lesson. The monstrous walls rise up and run away as far as the human eye can see, circling and dividing. Which half is the maze? Even I get lost. It changes. Sometimes slowly and imperceptibly, sometimes suddenly. This house is not only made of stone and mortar, wood and paint. It is made of time and mystery, hope and fear. Construction never stops. I take some pride in my role as architect. They think I will guide them to the center. Perhaps I will. The sun was very hot. Together, we walked through the gate into the entrance hall of the maze. They looked carefully at the bronze doors, trying to choose. The uncertainty of visitors is one of my little pleasures. It's easy to get lost, I said helpfully. This can be a sinister place. The sun glared at me through the gateway. Something was ringing behind one of the doors. They spent some time trying to decide which door it was, not understanding that the silences of the maze are as eloquent as the sounds. Decisions, one said. Too many decisions! It's the story of my life, said another. We don't want to be late, said a third, opening one of the doors. Nary a soul to be seen, said the first, peering into the gloom. I waited patiently for them to choose which way to go. Into. And here we are in the first room of the maze. We have 4 doors to choose from. Story, fable, tale, yarn, drum, cup, jug, apple. 20, 26, 41, 21. We also have some scraps of paper on the ground. I'm pretty well convinced that these scraps of paper are to do with sort of a secondary puzzle. The first run, we went through the Fable door. The second run, we went through the Tale door. The third run, we went through the Story door. And the fourth run, this run, we are going to start in the Yarn door. I waited patiently for them to choose which way to go. Into somewhere new. A yard containing shrubs trimmed in ornamental shapes. This, I began, is called... We know what the name is, they interrupted. Why don't you just tell us which way to go? I wasn't referring to the plants, I said in a huff. I refused to say anything else, leaving them to find their own way to... Okay. I love new rooms. Okay. Interesting. So from this room there is no way back. That's a one-way door. So 21 is a one-way door. 31, 24, and 44. 24? I remember this one. 24. Bad place. A place of unlimited darkness. 24 is you lose immediately. Now, between 31 and 44, I don't know if we've been to either of them before. Let's see, we have a caduceus here. Or, well, I guess the serpents from a caduceus. Intertwined serpents. We don't actually have the whole staff and everything. We've got a wrench on the ground. A spanner. I don't know if this guy's British or American. Wrench or spanner. Then we have a bird. A bird that I am not able to recognize. Or not able to identify. Beyond it being very bird-like. We've got some little topiaries. We got trees. 31 or 44. Well, here's the thing. 31 is kind of more nestled in darkness, so let's go 44. It's part of me that feels like we've been to 44 before. But if we crash out on this run too quickly, we're just going to turn right around and just take another run at it. I refused to say anything else, leaving them to find their own way to a courtyard of palms and statues. The trees waved to each other in the breeze. Who left the door open? They wanted to know. We came in that way, I offered, but they were convinced we had entered by another door entirely. Oh no. Oh no indeed. Okay, so, first off, the room. We've got statues. One with like a crown, one with a helmet, with a hand raised, almost gesturing us like, come back to 21! That's what you want to be. We got a statue over here. We've got a pillar with a lovely, it's Corinthian top here, the leaves. We've got a rope, and that rope leads to kind of a noose hanging around the doorknob. A little ominous. Also, he said the door that was left open was the way we came in. That absolutely was not the truth. So here, proof that the guide tells lies. Obviously, we have the alligator? No, crocodile. Crocodile, I think, have the exposed teeth. With a spiked collar chained to a palm tree. And then we have a bird that he seems to be sort of hunting. Now, what's interesting here, okay, so we have a palm tree, and then we also have, like almost a false palm tree. Because, we have the Corinthian leaves on this column that sort of echoes the palm leaves on the tree. I don't know if there's symbolism there, but it's an interesting data point. So we have door 21, which is back the way we came. Door 18. Door 18 takes us into a loop. We learned in run 3.5 that... door 18 goes into a set of loops that we are able to escape from. So if we go in 18, we are able to make our way back to room 1. So, knowing that, if, say we go back to 21 and we go on to room 31, and we find it's, going to dead end, we do have a path to take us back. We can take door 18 here and take that, loop that around and come back out to start in room 1. Because remember, going in through room 1, there was no way back out. So there is a path if we go through the yarn door to get all the way back out to room 1. So, escape hatch of sorts. So let's go back to 21. They vanished through the wall, and I followed them to a yard. Okay, we've already been here, so we're just going to come back out 44. We're not going to 24. 24 we know is a dead end. There are no doors. So we're going to go on to 31. I refuse to say anything else, leaving them to find their own way to a melancholy little courtyard surrounded by a brick wall, too high to see over. A dead tree lifted its bone-white branches to a sky filling with gray clouds. Those doors look very strange, they said. You should say, they look very strangely, I corrected. They seem to be watching us. A sudden gust of wind made the branches clatter against each other like old boards. Dead leaves began to gather at our feet. Shivering in the wind, we managed to push open one of the heavy doors and make our way to... Interesting. Oh, I remember. Back in run 3.5, in the final tunnel before we took the sun door to our demise. The sun is evil! One of the doors off of there went to 44. 44. So if we had gone through there, we could have gone to 44, to 21, and we could have gotten to here. So 44 takes us back. We've already been 21, so a little bit of a loop here, especially because going to 21 was a one-way venture. So it looks like the yarn door leads us directly into a set of traps. However, it looks like we do have a potential path out on door 19. We've never been before. Okay, well, our pathway forward is pretty clear. We're going to door 19 because 21 and 44 just take us to each other. Shivering in the wind, we managed to push open one of the heavy doors and make our way to a shaded portico. A late afternoon sun warmed the rough block of stone. "Get out of the way!" someone called. We moved into the yard, squinting at the strong light. One of them sat on a marble bench after I politely pushed some flowers aside. "Did you pick these for me?" she asked, looking me in the eye. I had to tell her the truth. In another part of the grounds, someone was singing, but they couldn't make out the words. Like children, they soon became restless and impatient to see something new. Okay, that's a bit of a dig. So we went on to... This is unfortunate. We've got some conical trees here. We've got somebody doing a painting, maybe? With a nice little conical hat. Another conical hat here. Some sun iconography, which we've learned the sun is always a bad sign here, apparently. This is going to be a very short run, unfortunately. And I think we've pretty quickly discerned that there are no viable paths going through the yarn door. So the yarn door is a dead door, because 31 takes us back where we came from, and 11 takes us to a trap loop that ultimately the only way out is through the dead end. Well, the only way out is death. So, this one's a very short run. Yes, we could make our way back to to room 1, but this is the end of the yarn door run, because there's nowhere to go. There's one path that'll take us back to room 1. All of the other paths lead us to doom. Ooh, I know what we'll do. We'll take one more run at door 20. We'll do a 4.5. So we're going to go all the way back out to room 1, and then we're going to go back into door 20, see if we remember the pathway back to get to that long hallway room with all the doors, and we're going to go from there. Okay, so going to 31 takes us back to here, and then I believe if we go to door 44, that takes us to here, and then we can go to door 18, and from door 18 we go to 13 from here. Yes, then we can go to 25, and from 25 it was 34, from 34 to 10, from room 10 to 41. It's quite the maze. And from here back out to room 1. Okay, we've made it to the entry hall again. Going into door 20, and then we went to 5. And from here we went to door 30, then into 42, and door 4. Now, interesting fact, last time I was here, I was all like, okay, we've been to 22, we've been to 30, we've been to 25, we've been to 37. We have not been to 37. So, marking that one in my memory for next time, because that is another potential path down here. We haven't been to that room yet. But we're making our way on to room 4. Here is where I really, really embarrassed myself and my memory, because actually several of these rooms that I marked up, we'd actually, I think, been to on that very run. Okay, 44. That takes us back to the room with the crocodile. We can mark 44 off as not a path forward. 29, we have not been to. 15, we have been to. We went there in the last run. 11, we went through on the last run. That was a failure. 16. Damn it. Okay, 16... I don't know if we've been to yet. I don't know if we've been to 16. 24 we've definitely been to. That is the dead end room. And 43 is also a bad place because that takes us into an inescapable loop, much like door 11. 43 and 11 connect to the same dead end loop. I also noticed something else. I'm going to read the description here, and then we're gonna use some problem solving. We emerge into a great hall of many doors. What a foolish face, I snorted. Pay no attention. A sound made them all turn suddenly. A small black cat ran out of a door to my right, sniffed at us, and before I could move, ran out of the hall. It was fortunate that I was still standing with the rest of them, or they might have noticed. Faint voices came down one of the corridors. "Shall we toss a coin?" I asked. "Or have you made up your minds?" They hadn't made up their minds, and they had no coins. By a process of elimination, they decided to go to 43 and 24 are bad. 16 I don't remember if we've been to, but maybe we have, maybe we haven't. However, a black cat ran out of the door to the right. So, black cat coming out here makes me feel like there's like motion going from right to left. And so that we should probably go out maybe a door on the left side. Now we've already... 44 was my prime contender last time, but we've already been there. 15 we've definitely visited before, and it did not lead us anywhere useful or good. So 11 is bust, 24 is bust, 43 is bust, so it's between 16 and 29. I think we use the cat clue, and we go to 29. So by process of elimination, they decided to go to a much smaller room. A person with a white staff turned to face us. His associate shrugged, not an easy thing to do in his position, and we went back to what he had been doing. "Look, look," said the person with the staff. "This is very important." I snatched the paper from his hand and tore it to pieces. "How will he find his way without directions?" the group wanted to know. "Don't worry," said the man. "Here, blindness is no disadvantage." I hurried my visitors out as quickly as I could, too. Okay, this is really interesting. So first off, doors. So we have 8, which we have not been to yet. 40, which I think we may have visited on a previous run. 35 we have definitely been to. 2 we have not been to. And then we have the jug, but the jug was not on door 8. We have a leaf, which is over door 40. We have salt and pepper shakers. Salt and pepper shakers were on door 4 in a room we just passed through. There's a key. That was not over door 2. That was over door, I want to say 3? Way back in the room without a floor, which we saw... I think we went through there briefly in run 3, and we spent a lot of time there in run 2. And then a spatula over a door without a number. All right, so we have jester-looking guy, or, curly shoes, standing on his head. We have this guy here. Now, he was holding a piece of paper, and the person with the staff, look, this is very important. So he was trying to draw our attention to it. The guide snatched it from his hand and tore it to pieces, which tells me that the guide, like, it is actually important. The guide doesn't want the guests to see that. And as we know, the guide lies. That seems really significant to me. So directions up and on. This seems really, really important. So before we leave this room, we'll come back to this. Hourglass on a placard. I want to say in room 18, might have been. There's all the time imagery, and there's like an hourglass. I feel like it's hourglass imagery, and there's like the death clock. All right, so I think it was room 18 that had this hourglass imagery that was really, really significant. But 18 is part of that loop with only one way out and other ways toward death. So you either fall into the death pit or you find your way back to room 1. So, I don't know. There are 4 chairs here. There was a clue in an earlier room, too. The one with the rabbit where it's like, oh, there's room for 3 people to sit. This is weird because this room seems to have a lot of clues from other rooms. And it feels like that should be significant. We've got a guy with a bucket hat. Yeah, not really a fez, more like a bucket hat. Wearing like dark glasses. So he has a staff. There are other like staff pieces here. He almost looks like he's holding one of those, like a long version of one of those little microphone things that were around the hall that we just came from. So all of these are references to like other places, but they don't match up. That's bothering me a lot. Up and on. And it's actually written like upside right. This guy's upside down though. Up and on. Okay. We've got candles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles up. 2 candles laying down. One of them is lit. So there's like 1 lit and 7 candles that aren't lit. One, 7, up and on. Huh. Okay, that seems meaningful. I don't know if we can count that. Do you think we can go through there? Do you think that's a door? Because it's a number. And it matches the style of the other numbers here. So he's upside down. This is upside down. Okay. I think that's something. And if that is something, I'm about to piss everybody off in the comments by not going there right now. We're going to go. We're going to explore these other doors. If I can't find any other path forward, coming back for this. But for now, okay. So 35. We've been to room 35. 35. That goes into a loop. Leads us nowhere. And the salt and pepper shakers, like these things. Yeah, they clearly don't align. But we've never been to room 2. We've never been to room 8. And I don't remember if we've been to room 40. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a quick peek into room 40. It's a real quick peek because I don't remember if we've been there. And hopefully it's not a one-way trap. So, information gathering run. We're still on our information gathering run. Oh, yes, we've been to room 40. Okay, so going back to room 29. Okay, so 35 is bust. 40 is bust. I guess let's see what's in room 2. So I hurried my visitors out as quickly as I could to a bright room whose walls were in some disrepair. The floorboards creaked and groaned. The plaster made a gritty sound. They studied the old frescoes for clues, but missed the obvious signs. "Are we on the right path?" they asked. Keeping in mind what a relative term right is, I assured them they were indeed on the right path. As for the correct path, or the most appropriate path, well, that might be something else. Full of confidence now, they marched on to totally new room. Oh, I love it. All right, 29. Good. We can go back the way we came, so it's not a trap, an immediate trap. 22. 22. I am pretty sure we've been to 22 before, and I don't remember it being a good time. I might poke my head through there just to remind myself what that is, but I think 22 we've already been to. 12, I don't think we've been to yet. We've got the frescoes up here, so we've got some like conquest iconography. We've got like a boat, we've got soldiers, a moon, we've got some angels up here, we've got more soldiers fighting horses, we've got somebody on a throne. We have a star and moon icon here. God, I don't have good feelings about... The sun is definitely evil. But I feel like the moon hasn't really been that much of our friend either here. So we've got a teddy bear here rolling its eyes. Chair. There's kind of a dark flag behind it. Very plain looking sort of chair. So the broom is again pointing at 29. Of course, the last broom was pointing at room 19, and that was an absolute mistake too. So maybe this, going not back to 29 is the way to go. Like maybe going forward from here. We have like a banner standard near room 12. Full of confidence now, they marched out to... I feel like 12 is going to be the way to go. I just want to poke my head in 22 and see if this is a room we've been to before. I really feel like it might. Oh, yep. And it's another death trap. Yeah, from here you get to 43, 38. They do a loopy thing. 43... You're on the inside of the trap loop, if I remember correctly, and there's no way out. Or you might be able to... There might be like one tricky path forward to get back out. I'm just going to step back because honestly, okay, we've been at this now. You've probably only been watching for like maybe 3 hours. I've been recording for close to probably 10 hours. There's a lot of stuff that gets cut out. Can you try to be a little bit quieter? A lot of stuff that gets cut out. So 22. Bad. Now I remember. Full of confidence now, they marched on to 12. A spacious room with a hole in the floor. A ladder led down into the shadows. Outside, leaves shook on the wind. They didn't like the look of that hole in the floor. "Too dark down there," they cried. "Who knows what's at the bottom?" They looked at me again. "Probably a room of some kind," I volunteered quickly. "But you know what I say about appearances." It would have been a relief to get outside for a while. They wanted to know if they had been here before. How could I answer that? "I have the strangest feeling of déjà vu," said one who, bolder than the rest. Let us into... Okay, interesting. So 39, that we've definitely been to 39 before. It's no good. 21, that was part of that little outdoor loop. That takes us right to the yarn room, if I remember right. So that was no good. 8 was another room off of room 29. So maybe if we go to 8, we might be able to get back to 29 that way. Or we know if we had gone out the 8 door, we could make our way back to 29, looping through this way. 2 obviously takes us directly back where we came from. We've got a U and a D, but they're not oriented the same way. We've got ionic columns here, Ionian columns. These little scrolls at the top, as opposed to the Corinthian column outside. I don't know if that's significant or not. Let's see. You have kind of crazed-looking chubby gentleman here with A napkin, fork, and knife, empty plate, and cleaned bones in the middle of the table. That guy is looking at me hungrily. Now, these guys, I don't think they are, but the way that they're drawn, they look like they're kind of staring each other down, throwing some signs at each other. This guy is holding some sort of a rod, or a stick or club or something like that. This guy is just pointing down at these letters. That is a similar sort of hat to the guy who was holding the significant piece of paper in room 29. I don't know. DU. We'll keep these in mind. DU. But I think our pathway forward is clear. So, one who bolder than the rest led us into 8. Oh, hello. This is new. A vaulted chamber lit by a single bulb. Someone knocked a bowl off the table. The crash echoed from the ceiling and whispered away down the corridors. I broke another on purpose. Make sure to take that with you, I said. You can never tell when you might need it. Take what? They wanted to know. Isn't it obvious? Taking a vote among themselves. They went on to... Okay. So 31, we've already been to. 6 is new. I'm pretty sure 6 is new. 12 we just came from. Creepy smiley face cut off over this door. There's an S here. We've got stethoscope. We've got someone holding an umbrella. Oh, another umbrella. So we've seen now 3 umbrellas. So there was one here. There was one outside in the prologue. And there was another umbrella in room 10. I believe it was 10. Candlestick on its side. There's a light switch here by 29. So 29, we know that leads us to places where there might be more things to do. I've got a bowling pin. There's a sign here pointing at 31, but 31 again, 31 didn't take us anywhere we wanted to go. So we know where 29 goes. We don't know where 6 goes. I think we'll take a quick vote here, and we'll go to 6. So taking a vote among themselves, they went on to... So we've been to 6 before. We've been to 6 before. So this, you see room 40, connects to room 40. This is also, once you go into 6, you are in the inescapable fail loss. There's no way out. 12 goes back the way we came. 31 leads us into kind of a longer loop. 6 leads us directly into the death loop. So really 29 is our only viable move from here. Now, 40, death loop. 8 takes us around and gets us to 2. 35 takes us into its own loop. There really is nowhere to go from here. I think we could find a way back all the way out to the entryway. I think we gotta try it. I think we gotta try room 17. Like, this is clearly attached to the pedestal, but the perspective, these are like laying on top of this. I wonder if this is the kind of thing where like you could push this aside, if it's like a box or like a, I don't know, maybe this iconography, maybe it's a sarcophagus and it's like meant to like conjure images of like place for a dead body. I don't know. You know what? So this may be breaking the rules. Maybe not. But I think we're going to go for it. So I heard my visitors out as quickly as I could to, well, hello. A room with a floor of sand. Amphory, I pronounced. Empty, of course. This is an easier choice to make, they said. You may think so, I muttered to myself, but your choices are more limited than you know. One should never accept the obvious here. If you think of the maze as a machine, confusion is its product, and the machine was hard at work. Ignoring my good advice, they hurried into... Okay, so... Obvious. Room 45. Our goal has been to get to room 45 the whole time. So, if we cheated in a good way. we cheated in a way. This gets us really close. So room 6, we already know that takes us to the death trap loop. 33 is the same deal. Oh, haha. You know what? I don't care if we've been to 33 or not. Sun. They have suns here. The sun is evil. The suns have always led us wrong. So, we're going right on to 45. So, ignoring my good advice, they hurry into the room at the center of the maze. My guests thought that whoever lived here was a careless person to leave so many things around. They were wrong. There was really only one thing for them to find: the riddle of the maze. They demanded that I show it to them. Do you think it is written on the wall for all to see? It is hidden here somewhere, perhaps throughout the room. As far as you are concerned, what the maze teaches can be learned in every room. They looked and looked. Every group is the same. Now, I said, after the last look around, we must find our way back out. Leaving the center of the maze, we found ourselves in... Okay, there is a lot here. So there's 28, 17, 36, 19, and 23. We already know 17 takes us back the way we came, and both of those doors off of there were no good. 19, we already know takes us to that, I think it was the portico, off of door 4. See, this is really good. I'm glad that we went through all 4 of those doors and kind of mapped out different paths. Because 19 takes us to a loop. We can eventually get back to room 1. Aha! Okay. We can get out of the maze. There are other doors here. 36 and 23 and 28. And I feel like we've been to at least some of these before. There's also all the clues here. And there's the whole second and third parts of the contest. So after getting from room 1 to 45 back to 1 in only 16 steps, I have not been counting, but I'll find out in editing when we get there. So we may need to keep trying to find a shorter path. Once you get into room 45, the clues here give a riddle. And then along the shortest path, there are clues that solve that riddle. We've made it to room 45. So, all right. We had a few false... we had many, many false starts. But we've made it here. Potentially cheating. But I don't know. I feel like, given the clues in this maze, that feels legit to me. If it's legit, let me know in the comments. If you think it's cheating, let me know in the comments. I'm going to go off of whichever one gets the most. So if it's found to be legit, then we're going to use it. If it's considered to be cheating, then we will continue to find a different route to get here. So I'm going to save actually trying to decode this room for the next run. But we know we can get back to room 1 from here. So I'm going to go through it. We've got a little bit of time left in this episode. So we're going to go back to room 1. And then we're going to tally up all the steps that we took to get here. Okay? Going out room 19. And then to 31. And then to 44. 18. And is it 3 or 13? Which one was quicker? I think we had to go to 13 anyway. Yep. So 13's quicker. 25. And to 34, 10, then to room 41, and then to room 1. Okay, we have successfully made it from room 1 to room 45, and then back to 1. However, this is how many steps it took us. And that number does not equal 16. So we've done it, we've made it, but we have not found the correct path. It took us this many steps to get to room 45, and then took us this many steps to get from 45 back to 1. I think next time we're going to start in room 45, and we're going to try to find a path that's quicker to get back to room 1. And then from there, we'll then see if we can find a quicker path to get from room 1 to room 45. And now, okay, so we've now successfully, we know it's possible. We know there's a path. We know there's a route. Now we just have to find the correct route. Now, for the first time ever, we're ending this episode not in that evil pit with no doors and creepy eyes. So, even if it's not the correctest answer, a win is a win. Now, to find the correct path, join us next time when we tackle this maze. Until then, ciao.